What's going on, guys? It's your boy Nick, the A24 Addict, and today we will be discussing the next film on the A24 list, and that is The Spectacular Now. So, The Spectacular Now stars Shailene Woodley and Miles Teller, along with a slew of other well-known actors like Brie Larson, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Kyle Chandler, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So, the main plot of the film is that the film follows Miles Teller's character, and basically he's just trying to deal with life and like what he wants to do after high school because he's like the popular kid, but he's just not sure where he wants to take his life since graduation is coming up. And along with that, he's also dealing with, a father abandoning him when he was young, along with his girlfriend Brie Larson breaking up with him. So he's just got a lot of stuff going on, and then that's when he meets Shailene Woodley's character, and over the course of the film, they develop this relationship with one another. And that's where I'll start with a major pro of this film. Both the actors, Miles Teller and Woodley, are pretty awesome in the film, and especially their chemistry. It felt like very easy and very real, you know. So they had wonderful chemistry in the film. And another thing that went along, I think, with providing great chemistry was the script. The script felt, as I mentioned with the chemistry, the script felt very real. Like the dialogue and conversations felt like normal, conversations that like teenagers would have, and it just made the film more engaging and relatable. It's definitely a coming of age film, but it's in that regard, it's not as cliche as I expected it would be. Because, from that plot alone, that sounds like a bunch of coming of age films or just people trying to figure out their life path. But the way that the director went about it, I don't think was in a cliche way. And speaking of which, the direction I really enjoyed. There's multiple scenes that are, longer takes of just people having conversations. This is like a slice of life kind of film, and I appreciated that. But as a result, because it's kind of structured like that, you can see it as a little bit of a slower film, but it takes its time, which I personally appreciated. And it just wasn't, the classic teenage Hollywoodized coming of age story, if that makes sense. And yeah, at times it's funny, at times it is, a romantic movie. It definitely starts to get more emotional towards the latter half of the film because then, minor spoilers if you haven't seen the film, but he does run into his dad, Kyle Chandler, who Kyle Chandler is only in, like one big scene with him, Miles Teller, and Woodley. But I think Chandler's a great actor, and I think that scene alone, I thought he was great in. And you really do feel, like, the more the story goes on, you really do feel for Teller's character, despite him at times not making, 100% the best decisions. You really do feel for him, especially when that scene comes on, and you just want him to, like, figure shit out, and that's the other thing I appreciated with the script is like they gave these characters, Teller and Woodley, a lot of great development. At first, Woodley's kind of inside this little shell, nervous, but little by little, she slowly breaks out of it. And another thing I wanted to mention with the realism is that there is a sex scene in here, and I thought that the way it was filmed and depicted was pretty accurate to how, like, at least first time sexual encounters are compared to, like, the flashy, like, fantasy version of what sex is like. I I had appreciated that as well. So in regard to things that I wasn't too big on with the film, besides the slow pacing, the only other thing that I had a little bit of a gripe with was at times in the movie the way that time jumped forward. It was one or two times it was hard to keep track of like where things were in the film. I don't know if that was due to like editing or and then along with that there was one scene that I won't spoil but involved a car And, you know, it was very sudden, unexpected, and effective for sure. But after that happened, it just kind of went nowhere and wasn't really touched upon anymore. So it kind of makes me question the purpose of it besides to evoke a certain reaction out of the audience. Oh, and also, I won't spoil the ending, but the ending I appreciated because it wasn't, as I mentioned before, a cliche Hollywood, romance ending of a film. It was a little open-ended, which I appreciated, and I just liked how throughout the movie the director could have went with the easy, you know, high school coming of age tropes, but he kind of did his own twist with it, and I really liked that. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the film. This is this is definitely my favorite of the previous films that I've reviewed before. This was definitely a step up for A24. But yeah, direction was great, charming, engaging characters with great chemistry. The acting was great. Everyone was great, but I think specifically Woodley, like just how she's able to evoke emotion with like little mannerisms in her face and her eye contact. I don't know the lineup for that year for like Oscars, but I think personally in like some of the scenes, she's definitely awards worthy just in her ability to evoke certain emotions. And as I said, the script also helps a lot with the film. So overall, I think I would give this film an 8 out of 10. Like I said, great film. I would highly suggest it. One of the better A24 films in my opinion. And from what I've, researched, definitely this is more of a overlooked, underrated coming of age film. So I'd highly recommend that. So once again, thanks so much for listening. Next up on the list is Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal. So I'm excited to talk about that one. There's definitely a lot I got to say about that. So thank you guys for watching. And again, it's Nick, the A24 Addict. Hope to see you guys in the next video.